everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. So I'm here today with the latest journal flip through. This is one of two books that I've made that have kind of a cottagey nature note sort of feel to them. So this is a lovely old Waverly novels book. I really fell in love with the cover. It has these gilded golden thistles here, and it says Water Wheel at the bottom, Waverly Novels. I left all of that alone, but I did cover the Thomas Scott image here and the little shield image here. So we now have an owl with some beautiful wood log and flowers, and then some mushrooms down here. These have been inked around so they look nice in the context of the old book. The closure is with a gold eyelet and some fun eco printed silk fabric that's kind of been shreddy and like it's been like torn, so it's very nice and tactile. I've stitched around this book with a fun kind of raggedy stitch, and I've built a large spine for it, a 3-inch spine, where I have sewn some jute on. You'll see these stitch lines across because I like to, on these old books, I like to give hard, flexible spines like this that have a little bit of fabric that just gives that bit of flex so that the book can really comfortably be written in. And I have stitched all across onto both of the front and the back, so it's nice and strong. Then we have an eyelet here that has this jute as well as gold threads, gold embroidery threads as the spine dangle. Then we have a little ivy here and a little golden sort of skeleton leaf, and there's knots and things in this hanging spine dangle. On the back we have this lovely embossing, or I guess debossing, on the original cover, and I've gilded over it. Lots of fun tabs and things out the side. This is a nice chunky book. It is full of ephemera, and it is 8 signatures, and let's just get on into it because it's a lot of fun. So here's a look at those ties. We open it on up, and the end papers are this beautiful crackly paint kind of look, and there's a pocket here. Then this is a journal card from the back of this lovely vintage magazine that was, I believe, Dutch, called Fleur. That just tucks in here. And then we have a couple things happening here. So this little nature note flip here. And then this is a Canada Goose, because, you know, we can't have a nature journal coming out of Canada with no Canada Goose involved. So it's actually a tip down. And it's a xylophile, someone who loves forests. And this is from Release the Craftins kit, their one of their word kits. And then down here we have a bit of washi tape. I just got to turn the book so you can see it because it's quite large. Bit of green washi tape, just for decoration, and then more writing space. And then up here, when this is all flipped away, we have a belly band with this log here on this beautiful paper. And then this is a journal card with thistles on the inside that I've added some fun handmade paper to. So that goes in here, this flips up, that flips back over. And on this side we have this little pocket from a woodland kit with a fox on it. And these beautiful flowers. This is from a vintage floral book. Hand-dyed paper with some fabric and book spine stitched on. This is from an insect field guide. Did some painting over the text to add writing space. This is boiled book construction paper that's got bits and bobs of leaves and other botanicals that mark it. And this is also from the Insect Field Guide, and it has a wraparound mushroom pocket with a vintage book label there. This little bear journal card, which is from a nature book. And then the other side has a label. And then this is some catkins. It's another journal tag on this leafy background. Hand-dyed paper with a stitched on tab. This is an old pocket from my school childhood library from an old book that I've had in my stash forever. And then the card as well. You see it's been checked out in the 80s and 90s. I've added a little trillium there, and that just tucks in here. And then we have this journal card. It's kind of a folded journal card, and it says the majesty of trees, and it has this forest. There is a serene and settled majesty in woodland scenery that enters into the soul and delights and elevates it, and fills it with noble inclinations. As the leaves of trees are said to absorb all noxious qualities of the air, and to breathe forth a pure atmosphere, so it seems to me as if they drew from us all sordid and angry passions, and breathed forth peace and philanthropy. There is something nobly simple and pure in a taste for the cultivation of forest trees. It argues, I think, a sweet and generous nature to have this strong relish for the beauties of vegetation and this friendship for the hardy and glorious sons of the forest. There is a grandeur of thought connected with this part of rural economy. It is, if I may be allowed the figure, the heroic line of husbandry. It is worthy of liberal and freeborn and aspiring men. He who plants an oak looks forward to future ages and plants for posterity. Nothing can be less selfish than this. That was written by Washington Irving, and it came out of an Ideals magazine. And this beautiful scrapbook paper, I believe it's from Simple Stories, and it has these lovely ducks here. This was the paper that really kind of inspired these books. And then more of Janet Marsh's nature note illustrations. This is a little clustered pocket here with a label and some mushrooms on these birch trees. And then this beautiful duck illustration with a tab there. Or not a tab, sorry, a label. Hand-dyed ledger. More hand-dyed paper with eco-printed fabric stitched down the side. This is from a children's book about seeds. It says, birds fly, animals run, fish swim to get from one place to another. We know that. Seeds move from one place to another too. Let's find out how. Sometimes we move seeds ourselves. So it shows this girl picking flowers, of course, and moving seeds around. This says gone fishing and has some fish there on this dyed ledger paper. This is the original front page of the Waverly Novels book, and I added this bit of floral there. This is from a beautiful illustrated encyclopedia about meadows. Has all of these lovely things going on, from caterpillars to a mole, butterflies, birds, plants, bees. And then there was this little page, sort of half page, that I made into a tab to write on with this little mushroom. Hand-dyed paper with some of my hand-spun yarn that has a little glass bead on it. That's a wool yarn. Ledger paper. And this is from the Meadow book as well, and I've painted over the text there for writing space and added a little raspberry. And this is actually, this was from a children's book. And we have our Canada geese friends in here with their nest. More painting and an acorn in the meadow. Ledger paper. Hand-dyed paper with lace and fabric. Rusty paper clip here holding onto this lovely sort of large piece of stationery from a book with deer and like a wild boar, and it's been inked on the back for like a large journal card. And it's another beautiful page from that Meadow book, and it flips over. We have map here, and it says fruit of the earth. And then this just clips on there. And then on the back side, we have this beautiful mushroom illustration from the encyclopedia. Some more dyed ledger. More of that seed, children's seed book. With all those dandelions and milkweed. Coffee dyed paper with some stitched on cotton tab. Coffee dyed ledger paper. This lovely birch tree, and down, this is all part of the woodland kit, these two, the pocket and this beautiful page. And this bird here is actually, this is the right way, is on this door. Hopefully you can see it there. It's a nuthatch. They're the birds that kind of like, they go down trees rather than going up. They're so interesting to watch. This duck fabric pocket here on this beautiful paper, and then this loon with the baby and the egg. I use so many vintage nature books in these books. They're so nice. And then some woven gray fabric here on my hand-dyed paper. And this is a children's book page with caterpillars and insects. And then over here, some little mammals. A boiled book page, see lots of leaves there, and this is more of my hand-dyed paper with book spine and fabric stitched on. Some handmade paper in the middle. More of the leaves from the boiled book, and the children's book page. We have a blackbird and a frog and all sorts of little things. A little mouse there, ladybug. Hand-dyed paper with some fabric stitched on the side. This little pocket here with this. This is from, I think it was actually taken from Ideals magazine, and it's a Smokey the Bear ad. It's a grand old forest too, be careful. And this actually has a little tab there because it opens up for more writing space on that pocket. More of the woodland book. Beautiful, beautiful. And then this little note, kind of nature note pocket on this lovely scrapbook paper. All sorts of animals and plants. And then this is a journal card that I kind of gave a fun shape to with this squirrel and an oak tree with handmade paper. This little pocket with these lovely leaves, and then this says Studies of Blue Tits, and we have all these little illustrated blue tits down there, and that's from Janet Marsh. And then this is a watercolor moth that I added on this lovely journal card, and some more of the green dyed ledger with some botanical fabric stitched on the side. This little fox, I thought it was so cute, from a nature book, and on the back the meadow imagery. Hand-dyed paper, this little tabbed pocket with a vintage botanical illustration journal card. I love the saturated colors from those 70s books. More hand-dyed paper, and this is from a vintage bird book, the Carolina Parakeet and Yellow-billed Cuckoo. This is some hand-dyed paper, ledger with a cotton tab. This is from a children's book. We have these little ducks lifting off, and I've painted over the text in blue, added a mushroom. And then I left this guy here. He's just going fishing, probably with his grandson or something, and there's this fish leaping out of the water. And a lantern here. More coffee-dyed ledger paper with book spine. Richardson's owl, Sawet owl, hand-dyed papers, more of the meadow imagery. There's like so much going on in these pictures. They're really nice to just kind of look at. And then we have this butterfly belly band, and it's on this original old book page, 1879 to 80 is when the text was written. It was released in 1905. And then this is from a fun little animal facts book that I got. Ants have no lungs. They herd aphids and drink a sugary liquid that they excrete. Ants are the only mammals except humans that farm other animals. More dyed ledger with some woven gray fabric on the side. More beautiful scrapbook paper, and this little library card with mushrooms and plants. Here's a tuck spot for this lovely, this is all hummingbirds and wild columbine. It's from a nature study book. And then this little owl pocket on this beautiful paper. And this is actually from an Anne of Green Gables journal. It says, I'm tired of being studious and ambitious. I mean to spend at least 2 hours tomorrow lying out in the orchard grass thinking of absolutely nothing. And then we have this little tuck here, more of that meadow illustration. And this has some lovely cottagey kind of feeling theme. And then this beautiful illustration of all these birds. We have a rose-breasted grosbeak and a chickadee and an eastern bluebird. And I'm not sure what this little red one is. Coffee-dyed paper with a stitched-on cotton tab. This is from a mushroom field guide. Destroying Angel. And this is a little fox on this hand-dyed ledger. Just this lovely bluey green paper in the middle. That was from a fly page in a book. Another mushroom illustration of false death cap. Coffee-dyed paper with a tab. This is a belly band made from a vintage tree book, and that's the other side of that lovely scrapbook paper with the cottage theme. And this is from a really old book about animals for children. It was from like the 1930s, and I've stitched it on, glued it down to some cardstock so it would be strong. But the color of it shows you the age. It's really lovely. Then on this page, we have this little catkin pocket here, and this is also from a vintage book. It's those wild colors again, right, from a 70s botanical book. And then we have this from a children's book, this beautiful deer. And then this is a belly band here from the Meadow book. And it's on this really pretty woodland paper. And this is an envelope that I decorated. It's got postage stamps and a moose and some eco-dyed fabric. On the back, it's all inked with more stamps. And then inside, we actually have this little card. So this was a jelly print. It has this vintage image of a well with some landscape on the back. And it was just a fun little bit to tuck into this for more writing space. Just tuck it back in the envelope. The envelope has all been stitched around too, just to have fun. It was kind of a mixed media altered envelope project. This beautiful paper, some ledger paper, another of those beautiful vintage botanical images, and it's on a large journal card on hand-dyed yellow paper. More ledger. This is from a frog book, and it's got like information about frogs and toads. This is more hand-dyed paper with some vintage seam binding and this rosy pink stitched down the side. And this is another pocket, an upper tuck pocket with that little bird there. And then this is a little botanical envelope with a lantern. And it opens up, and inside we have this journal card with monarchs sort of flying over a little town. It's on that brown cardstock. And then this is some hand-dyed paper with this little gray woven tab. This is painted. It's from a beautiful book, nature book. And then this is a Junk Journal Mayhem inclusion of this lovely lynx with some little pebbles and a little dried seed pod inside. So it's a little shaker card. And that just tucks on in here. It's all stitched inside so nothing can escape. We have a snapping turtle here. And more coffee dyed paper with some denim and some canvas and thread stitched down the side. Hand-dyed paper. Over here, this is how you know it's one of my books. It has a giant toad that makes me so happy. And then over here we have a bullfrog. Hand-dyed paper with some book spine stitched on top. A little library checkout from Toronto with a chestnut there. It flips up for more writing space. It has dates from the 80s on it. This is a little tuck spot that says Embrace Nature. And this is also from Junk Journal Mayhem. So this is my illustration, some acetate from 49 and Market, those leaves. And it's all been stitched in. The backing is actually dryer lint from my studio. So it's mostly like towel lint and stuff from Studio Towels. And then this is a little stitched on tab. This little wallpaper birdhouse that was sent to me by Shell's Creative Chaos. More of that frog information book and more ledger and hand-dyed papers. This lovely glowing lantern on this mossy tree. This is from a Jan Brett book. It's a little badger running on a log on this beautiful paper. And then this is also from Junk Journal Mayhem. This is what we did with the wood shavings from the pencil. And it's a double-sided kind of journal card with a peek through of laminated space. And then some watercolor, beautiful boats. Little pocket here with mushrooms and a hedgehog. And then we've got some bird illustrations back here, and this journal card that says In the Fields, the Forest, and the Town. And then this little tag here with trees on it. Extra writing space. Hand-dyed paper. a little vintage floral book tuck spot on this green leafy paper. And this is a large mixed media tag that I made with this moth and hand-dyed paper and collaging, and it's all on handmade paper, gold splatters and all sorts of stuff. Hand-dyed paper with book spine, the Brunix Muir, and the Dove Key. This is from a children's book. I left the text because it's all about the gray squirrel and all sorts of fun things. Got a house finch here and a white-crowned sparrow and looks like a Steller's jay. And another little sparrow there. Some coffee-dyed lace stitched onto this green ledger paper. Some of my hand-spun yarn. It's wool. Another of the squirrel book pages. We have a cat on this one. Red-headed woodpecker. Yellow-bellied sapsucker. Hand-dyed paper. This is that lovely paper again with this little duck tuck spot. And then in there we have, this was from Jug Journal Mayhem, the tree bark. And these are fish from this book called Fishes. And this is actually birch bark behind them. And that is a fun freeform journal card. And then this little tiny tag with an eyelet. It says, it was an unusually beautiful evening. The sky was purple with storm clouds, and the river lay a ribbon of mauve below us. The meadowsweet and hogweed showed up white against the sky. Green hand-dyed paper. This little nest illustration. This is from an old book, and I used it as a tuck spot. I just love those flowers. And this is from a vintage floral book, these irises. It's a journal card. Tuck spot on this vintage tree book paper. And then this is from Junk Journal Mayhem. This was using toothpicks. We made this celestial feeling weasel. But this is from a nature book, and I just thought it went really nicely in this book. Belly band here, and this is it has to go this way, the journal tag that has a little tuck spot here with this little round collage journal card and a tab up here. It's on that vintage book paper. And then more ledger and hand-dyed paper. This is from Janet Marsh's Nature Field Guide, and it has all these beautiful swans and florals and a moth. Coffee dyed paper with a stitched on tab, another tab on my hand dyed paper, another tree belly band on this wood paper, and then this little fox booklet. It's just got different writing papers inside, and more of the book that this is from, little children's nature book. And then this beautiful spread from the Woodland Kit. This is again from the Meadow book, and we have a little tuck spot on that wood paper. This is a jelly printed card that I made. We have a toad on back and the bunny on the front with some handmade paper. And this is from a really old children's book from like the 50s. And more hand-dyed papers, a little sample card from a fabric sample collection. And then this is some of the Janet Marsh's nature notes. I left a page in here. Lots of nice little things. Like June 26th, I went to put up the small exhibition of my illustrations. The flower festival begins on Friday. I hung pictures with difficulty. June 27th. Today, however, was the day. Hair had to be washed, face made to look better, clothes, paintbrushes, paper with drawings, hat had to all be sorted out. This was followed by a large gin and tonic. June 28th. This is the last day of weed cutting, and water keepers are now busily trimming the banks and helping to move the accumulated rafts of weed downstream. This particular weed cut must have been quite severe because the water level has dropped at least 4 inches, which is a lot for a chalk stream. June 30th, the flower festival opened and looked quite promising. Alas, no cake stall. And then more hand-dyed and ledger papers, more of that vintage tree book. And then over here, the belly band, and the last piece in this book is from day one of Junk Journal Mayhem, where we used, yes, toilet paper, and that's what this background is here. It's all inked, colored, interesting toilet paper, and it's this couple here, and I added this little pink outhouse. We have a little pom-pom at the top, and I thought it was so appropriate for kind of like a, you know, cottage nature-y themed, you know, we've all had those camping trips, right? And then the back is this beautiful paper. I've added my seal and signature here with a little floral and some more of the eco printed fabric. So thank you for joining me for Waverly Novels Nature Notes Journal. If you're seeing this video, that means that this book is up in my shop. I always link my Etsy shop and my Patreon down below. This does have a hidden hollowback spine. And yeah, thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye for now.